Hi everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of the GG Chronicles podcast. I'm Graham, I'm here with Iain.
Hello.
And Chris.
Hello.
Each episode covers various subjects, films, music, games and anything else that feels current. Today I decided we're going to start talking about E3, which is the most recent kind of games expo, the kind of biggest event of the games calendar that happened just recently. Chris, you want to start us with something? Start us talking about something?
So I thought we would start with arguably one of the biggest talking points of E3, and that would be the press conferences.
Well done.
Thanks. So do you want to get the ball rolling with Microsoft? So first of all, let's quickly ask Iain, what
do I think of it?
Well, what were your expectations going into it, based on what you saw from the console reveal?
Because you both watched it live.
Yeah, you done.
I was expecting big things because I knew they'd still had quite a lot to reveal. Because I think they were going to focus more on the games, so I knew they were going to, because they'd done all the rubbish stuff, all the kind of crappy kind of TV stuff that nobody really, well, not saying nobody cares in, because I do like some of it, but
yeah,
your average gamer just wants to see about the games. So I was looking forward to seeing what games they had to reveal, what exclusive games they had to reveal. So that's what I was really looking forward to, and I think it paid off.
So you weren't too keen on the console reveal then?
I liked the console reveal. I thought it did what it was supposed to do. Told you about what the console, the spec of it, and people were expecting all about games, but that's not what I was expecting. So the press conference I was looking forward to, because I knew it would be mostly about games, which it was. So no, it lived up to my expectations. What about you, Graham? What did you think of it?
I liked that they actually separated it. So they had the press conference beforehand where it was the console reveal. Yeah. They showed you what it looked like, and I felt that was lacking with the Sony one, which I know we'll come on to. But the pre-conference showed you the console, showed you everything what you wanted to see. I thought that looks brilliant, looks really cool. Can't wait for the E3. Can't wait to see the games, and that's what I was waiting and hoping for going on E3, was seeing all the games.
See, I was just really annoyed with the console reveal, because I just thought, I just didn't see the point in showing off a console and almost advertising it. I mean, it seems redundant saying this now because you've now seen all the games, but at the console reveal, I just thought, what is even the point in showing that as a TV?
Because it's
accessory.
Because it's showing you something that's not really.
There was no games. I felt there was absolutely no games at all. But then at E3, it just felt like they were just bombarding you with games, and a lot of them weren't necessarily exclusives, but there just felt like there was a lot of games there,
which was a good feeling. I think I like I said, I didn't watch or listen to the conference live. I was getting texts from both of you, and when I got home I looked up all the videos and checked it all back myself, but it felt brilliant that they were just like this game, and it felt like a proper bombardment, like you say, and I think that was a good thing, because it made their conference seem brilliant at E3.
It was exciting. I thought I was genuinely excited.
There wasn't even any annoying stuff in it though.
No, that's what I thought.
Like,
they got the annoying stuff out of the road.
No filler at all.
See, the game the console review, that was them getting rid of, like, we need to get rid of the stuff that people really don't want to, or most people don't want to hear about, so
but we can
excite everybody. We need to talk about this, so we'll talk about it here, and then that leaves us all this scope just to blow people away at E3.
Well, I think if there had been a bigger, well, I don't know, they'd always said that with the console reveal and E3, they were sort of made with each other in mind, sort of thing. So they were doing obviously the console reveal, and then they were planning on showing all the games at E3, and I suppose they didn't really disappoint from that perspective. But I mean, talking about the games themselves, I mean, was there any? Do you feel that there was any kind of surprises or anything from the games that they announced it during the conference?
Probably, obviously, Metal Gear was a surprise, because there's because it's normally a Sony exclusive. I know
it's always been associated with Sony mostly.
They've done the remakes, the HD remakes, but it's not the same. Because Metal Gear Solid 4 never came to the Xbox, so for Microsoft to showcase the new Metal Gear
and have Hideo Kojima on stage.
I thought that was pretty good, because normally it's Sony, but because it's there.
He just appeared on stage though.
It was
he just kind of walked on and went, "Hi, please enjoy this trailer."
And that was it.
Walked away.
But
he is cool as fuck. That's all he had to do.
And that was a huge impact. Him doing that tiny little appearance, that clip of a game you saw was brilliant, and it made myself and all everybody else excited, and I was like, that's brilliant, that's the sort of stuff you need.
And big Kiefer.
It's better than a
How cool is that?
big Kiefer in the game.
Jack Bauer jumping about.
Jack Bauer spouting his nonsense, so...
I've missed Kiefer Sutherland.
That's
So I'm glad he's coming back in one medium and in also a new 24
I know,
series.
see a new 24 series
One
as
fine
well.
specimen of a man.
He is a legend, so just make something, but that's it. It's just that tiny little thing. A voice actor of a game is a huge talking point in itself, so can't wait for that. It looks brilliant.
I think for me the best thing, the thing that I'm most excited for after this is just purely based on E3, would be Titanfall. Because I just thought, it just looked like so much fun. Like it just looked like it just looked really, really cool, and something a wee bit. Although I suppose on the surface it doesn't look that different, because you still get all the mid XP stuff flying up and.
Now, at the heart of it, it's a shooter, but it looks brilliant and it looks like it plays so good, and it, like you were talking about, like the frame rate's been improved for all the Xbox One games, and it looks super smooth, really fluid, fast, no slowdown, and there was like tons of explosions, there was loads of characters on screen, there was tons of stuff going on, and it still looked amazing, still looked brilliant.
Aye, definitely. What was your kind of highlight from the Microsoft conference?
There was loads. Metal Gear obviously looks phenomenal, but they always know it'd be the case anyway. It always does look brilliant. Dead Rising 3, that looks brilliant. And I've not been overly fond of the games. I thought they'd been good, but they just frustrated me a little. I found they were overly hard because I'm pretty rubbish at games. So.
They're not hard. They weren't hard at all.
They were hard for me because I get frustrated at it.
They had some. They were primarily really good games, but they did have flaws.
They did
I always
annoying
found
bits.
the
time hang, the saving.
The saving was a nightmare.
Oh, that's what done it for me.
It's stupid though. It's like almost doesn't make sense. Why would you put such an annoying save mechanism in a game? I mean, it doesn't really.
I like my games where I can be playing like, right, I need to leave, I need to save it.
Pause quick.
If you're playing Dead Rising, then you're fucked. You're going to lose. If you've been playing it for half an hour, like, the save point's fucking ages away, and I need to leave the house right now, or I need to go and do something right now and switch everything off.
You're going to lose it.
You're fucked.
So it makes you almost at that stage. If you're going to pick up and play a game,
I wouldn't want to pick up and play again if I've lost an hour.
It makes you not want to play it. You're going to need to sit down. Know you've got the time,
so
they didn't even really confirm it. I mean, you saw a brilliant trailer.
They made it look absolutely brilliant. It did that.
Amazing, cool weapons and everything. So on the surface, it looks amazing. So hopefully they'll fix those sort of kind of little bits that maybe weren't as good before that they could definitely improve.
Yeah.
What else was Microsoft's
Killer Instinct for me.
Oh
yeah.
I was.
Again, it's they almost kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit because they showed
pardon me.
They showed a kind of an IP that had been long gone for ages, obviously with the Rare purchase with Microsoft. I was like, when are they ever going to do Killer Instinct, or if they ever will? And they are doing it, but it's not Rare. And I just think the premise of it is brilliant.
Are you saying the game's Rare, or is it Rare?
It's both Rare. It's Rare fun.
Yeah, but it's kind of. I think it is. I mean, I'm not a huge Killer Instinct fan, so
I liked it.
People probably won't care what my opinion is.
It's a nostalgic thing.
I just kind of don't. I think it's a bit of a shame that Rare aren't doing it, but Rare don't seem to be doing a lot of decent games. It seems to be.
What is it? No, is it the Connect Adventures and all that?
And they done like
they're doing another one.
It's kind of like Wii Sports.
Connect. What's that? Is it Rivals or something? Connect Sport Rivals or something like that.
Power of shite, probably.
I don't like the idea that it's free to play.
That means it.
But see, this is the thing though,
and
this is something that we'll probably touch on a wee bit later as well, with regards to how things have changed with what Microsoft announced at E3 and what they announced just a couple of days ago, and then how you're probably going to see a lot more free to play, microtransactions, day one DLC, and I suppose it's just more common now. I just don't like the idea of it, but
I mean it's definitely different. It's got its good and bad points because you've got a game there that I would have bought that regardless. So if it's a free to play game, I'm going to get it anyway. If it's a £40 game, I'm going to buy it. So for me, it seems like a good thing because it's potentially then going to attract people who maybe wouldn't have cared.
Well, see, that's the thing. I probably wouldn't have bought it. But
now you'll get
since it's free to play, yeah,
exactly. So that's,
then you might get into it and you might go, I'm going to buy a couple of characters. And that's,
So-
they're getting maybe £4 or £5 better than them not getting £40.
So that's why I think it's good. So for somebody like
Good
me,
business
I'll,
sense.
But
The-
then you're talking about if you want to unlock all the characters, you could end up paying the equivalent of 2 games. You could end up paying like £80
I
or
suppose
something.
that's a bit early to tell.
and that's
Don't know
yet
how
to
much
be
it's gonna
confirmed.
cost.
But you're right, with the way pricing has went on.
Potentially, yeah.
With the way pricing has went on some things on current generation stuff, it could easily be a ridiculous price, and you could easily then be sitting spending £60-70, and I don't want to do that. I'll quite happily buy everything if it comes to at max a normal game price, because that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And it just looks like it plays brilliant. I mean, but kind of getting rid of all that, can I talk about the pricing structure? Because we don't know. We can't comment for good or bad reasons because we don't know yet. But
There is cases where it works, like Marvel Heroes that's come out. I think that, well, for me that works because for a free-to-play game you can go on and still play a full game for free, and it's a brilliant game. I've
Well,
loved it.
there is that distinction between free to play and then pay to win.
But you don't need
which-
to pay to win on Marvel Heroes.
No, I know, but I'm not saying that you do. But I'm just saying that there is like a kind of fine line, and the majority of games that you get, a lot of them like on the App Store and stuff like that, are the game is just useless. Effectively,
designed towards you paying.
yeah, like you won't get anywhere unless you actually pay some money.
Games like that, that's crock of shit.
So it kind of
It's
depends.
pointless.
I mean, I don't,
Depends how they do it. If they do it like
With Killer Instinct, they're quite freely admitting that you get the basic shell of the game, and you'll pay for the characters.
well, you get one character,
so
which I suppose it's probably the first instance of a fighting game using this free to play model.
it is a proper good game.
So that I guess you'll just need to wait and see how that comes about, because I've not really seen, anything that's used that in terms of like fighting games. So I guess we'll need to see. But I mean, with regards to, there are so many games.
You
I've
could-
got like
you
a
could
massive
spend
list of games that we could probably talk about.
weeks
but
talking about it alone.
with the games to one side and the actual console itself, they obviously announced that it's coming out this year, November-ish. Like there's going to be some date in November, and the price, I think the price was $499, £429.
€499.
Yeah, €499.
Which seems like we're getting screwed again on conversion, which is
but
insane.
that's nothing new.
It's not just conversion; it's the tax we pay here. Americans pay much less tax than we do.
But that's
always been the case.
happened.
It's always been the case. That's why there is such a hype. But you're right, the conversion rate is rubbish as well.
But with
nothing we can do
that
with
price in mind, $429. What were your thoughts when you?
Wasn't surprised at all.
See, I was actually really surprised. I really wasn't expecting it to be that high.
I felt it was expensive, but I'm with Iain. I felt it was expensive, but I'm not surprised.
I'm not saying it's not expensive. It's
Because
expensive.
we had a conversation about a week before, and I was saying about how much money you'd probably need, and I was like probably about £500. And then you were saying
thinking that would get you a few games as well, sort of thing.
Nowhere near as much as that. And sure enough, for just the console, you're paying £429.
You're getting 2 games. That's over £500, definitely.
But again, after it came out, I just thought that is extremely expensive. But then I was reading comments from people saying, "Well, look at a top of the range iPad." Now, I do think Apple stuff is quite overpriced for what it is anyway.
I would definitely say it's overpriced stuff.
But for what you're getting for a top of the range iPad,
an iPad Mini is top of the big model, 32 gigs, £450.
and that's a top spec, top of the range
And-
iPad.
iPad Mini.
And actually, you're right.
That's not even the big iPad. That's iPad Mini.
When
no,
you just,
and a big iPad is.
An iPad Mini, I looked it up, £450 for the biggest model, the biggest memory for an iPad Mini.
Where are you shopping? Because that doesn't sound right at all.
I look it up while we're on this just now. That's where I seen it.
Right, okay.
Somebody linked me to it on Twitter. Somebody said, "Oh, look, this iPad Mini."
and I actually bought my regular iPad when I was in the States a couple of years ago, and again through conversion rates and because of the type of product it is, I can do that no bother, and it was noticeably cheaper. But I paid, it was mid-level. It was your kind of 32 gig one. It was the very first one. I think I paid £300 something for it, which at the time, because it was the first one, was a brilliant deal in the conversion. But that's the thing with the Xbox pricing. It sounds expensive, but really when you think about it, it's now got a Blu-ray drive that the previous one didn't have.
Somebody said to me as well
with hard drive, with the fact that
500 gigabytes.
The fact that it's a new machine in general, yeah, I know this is a whole other conversation in itself, but you can connect with it, which just now. So when you put all those things together, Blu-ray drive, hard drive, connect with it, and the fact that it's a new console, it really doesn't then seem like that much.
It's not I think it's people are more grudging that they need to buy the Kinect with it.
There's not a choice.
A lot of people were saying
if
you could release it as the console minus Kinect, then it would be slightly more affordable and probably more justifiable for certain people. But see, just checking there, a 64 gig Wi-Fi, and that's not 3G, a Wi-Fi iPad Mini is actually £429.
That's mad.
Exactly the same price for it.
That's crazy when you say like that.
Apple directly, so it might.
That's not going to fluctuate much.
Slightly, but probably not a lot. £429 for a 64 gig mini iPad Mini. So
that's crazy.
I know out of the two what I would rather buy.
Absolutely.
So.
Definitely. And you're I think somebody else brought up as well that the original Xbox was £300 when it first came out in 2001.
The original Xbox, obviously.
That was £300 when it came out.
So
and that was 13 years ago, and the rate of inflation, it's somewhere like £130. Plus, you're getting a Kinect, you're getting more with it. It's a better machine. So.
I know. I just
it's a lot.
I'm still not going to deny it's expensive, but
it's a lot of money regardless. But I think the value of the money is really good.
When you compare it to the PlayStation, and that's $350, and it's £50, £80. That's basically the Kinect.
But I think the value is all relative to. I mean, at the end of the day, the value is worthless if there are no decent games coming out for it.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that the value is all relative to what's actually being released.
You could have a cheap console with brilliant games would make it amazing.
So they need to have some really good exclusives.
And that's why I feel the Microsoft conference overall was better, because regardless of the price, how the machine looks, to me, the games struck me as being better, exclusive wise, and even like multi-platform stuff, because obviously
I did enjoy the Microsoft the games they showcased. I enjoyed that more than the Sony one, definitely.
See, I don't know.
I
honestly don't know. I would be somewhere in the middle, I think.
What was it? I can't remember. What was the Sony games?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but
okay.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, guys.
I know, that's actually way too much.
We could literally spend hours and hours talking about Microsoft alone.
So, so based on everything you saw at E3, what would you... Well, sorry, from Microsoft alone, what would you be getting with your Xbox One? What launch titles would you want to get?
Ones that I know are launch titles, or ones that I hope would be launch titles? Or
well, what you'd hope.
What we know.
I mean, like, I agree with you. I think Titanfall, to me, obviously...
Well, that's definitely not launch.
We know it's not a launch game, but that, to me, was the overall best looking game on every platform or every machine that was at the whole of E3, but and like you say, it's not a launch game.
Do you mean best looking as in most enjoyable?
Everything, graphics, exciting, like playability.
It's definitely not the best looking visually.
And that's not what you meant though. You meant the best looking forward to.
Well, actually, to be honest, I probably did mean that in what I said.
It does look brilliant, but
see, this guy is a compulsive bullshit.
Who, me?
No, there's no.
But I suppose that, again, that's down to opinion, because it depends what you're looking for. I think the fact that it was so smooth and all, but I suppose like your question was talking more to debate the games that we know are launch, that we don't know. And Forza, without a shadow of a doubt, is an absolute day one. Shut up, Ian.
I'm gonna drive.
Ian's allergic to anything with cars.
I'm gonna drive in a car.
No, I actually do think Forza looks.
Well, that's something you can't deny. It looks
beautiful.
amazing.
But if I wanted to drive a car, I'd go and learn.
But that's such a stupid. That is such a stupid.
But it's not
flight simulator as well.
But that's in between it.
Yeah, bell end.
Now you're just.
Well, you want to go shoot guys? Fuck off and join the army.
I'm going to.
You wouldn't last a day in the army.
You're going to get capped.
But no, I think Forza does put the kind of the racing game in the middle of. It's not anywhere near Gran Turismo realism or simulator type, and it's nothing like Burnout with complete arcade, pure unrealistic car physics and movement. I think Forza gives you real cars, real environments, believable, but it still feels fun and like a game.
Plus, it has a drive-atar. Which is
that sounds fucking stupid.
It is actually the worst
Have a
name.
Divatar! My Divatar's going to drive while I'm having a wank.
It's a good idea. Like,
it's
it's really. But to be fair, I have another wee list of amazing catchphrases and amazing names for things. I think actually EA definitely won on this.
For the
because there were
stupid
so
things.
many wee phrases.
Oh, that
and
guy.
stuff.
Like, try coin new phrases for the new generation sort of
Like
thing.
MMAI was quite a good one. But that's one of the shit ones. There's better ones. But anyway, we'll get to that later. But,
Yeah. I launch games.
so you're going to get Forza. What else?
Forza guaranteed, definitely. But we're talking about Battlefield, because obviously the whole thing was Call of Duty Battlefield was obviously current generation's been a battle on its own. New generation seems to be the same, and between us three and other friends that we play with online, we've been talking about how that Call of Duty's maybe been getting more stale. They've not been reinventing themselves enough to warrant people getting excited for their games. It might be at the surface be still a very well made game, yeah, but Battlefield, like you said, is maybe doing more with it. It seems more exciting, and I think through the videos that I've seen, Battlefield as well as Forza is definitely two.
I'm just really disappointed with Call of Duty completely. I just really think that the reveal was just totally pointless. Like I felt like it was just watching a Call of Duty game from about 5 years ago. Like I don't think there was anything exciting about Call of Duty Ghosts. And maybe I'm just totally jaded and I'm just
done with it.
Fed up with Call of Duty because we've been buying it every year for since
Call of Duty 2 and Xbox.
Well, I've been buying it back when
PC.
The original Call of Duty was on PC. I bought that as the very first one on PC and it was incredible. But as far as like the consoles being concerned, bought pretty much every one.
I think the Call of Duty generally went up, peaked, and then it's been going down.
Yeah, I think it's just complacency, total complacency, because people are still willing to buy it, and I suppose people are just voting with their wallets. At the end of the day, you can choose not to buy it, and maybe sales will then dictate to them that they have to, I don't know, to spice it up some way, do something totally new and different, and that's what I was expecting. Because I was thinking, a next gen Call of Duty reveal. Let's see what they're going to do.
Thinking it'd be some, quite rightly, you would go into it thinking this is going to be amazing. It's going to be something really cool, different. It's going to look brilliant, and it was. I mean, even me, and I was like, really, that's quite.
And they were talking like, oh, this dog Riley. It's like, oh, wow, it's totally new, and everybody's going mad for it. But are people going? Like, I don't even. Why would you go mad for it? It's like a dog in the game, like. So what? Yeah. And it was so stupid the way they were controlling him. Like
it didn't look kind of fluid.
It just felt as if like
clunky, you know?
It just felt like typical Call of Duty, just very very heavily scripted, and I don't know.
So you're probably not be buying Ghosts then? Not right now, anyway.
This is probably going to be the first year when I'm going to not buy it.
And you're going to, you would say Battlefield's then a definite launch title.
For my personal launch titles, I would probably I would definitely get Battlefield. This is assuming that these are launch titles. Battlefield, Watch Dogs.
Oh, they are.
And what was my other one? There was 3.
You know, saying Dead Rising as well for you.
Dead Rising I would want to get. If I could, I would probably get Forza as well.
But it's like we go back to talking about the money, it's insane.
You're talking close to about £600 maybe.
It's even more for me because I want FIFA and Watch Dogs, Dead Rising, Battlefield. So that's 4 already.
It's
just on the Xbox.
That's why I feel like I almost can't commit to launch titles, because I feel like we don't even know the full list. I mean, there might be things that we don't think are launched.
They say that there still are things that haven't been announced yet. So
that's already, I know. That's already the confirmed ones that I want.
But I think we've probably, we could, there's a massive list of stuff that we could talk about from each press conference, so we've already spent about 25 minutes talking about Microsoft, so let's
just jump onto Sony conference.
Move on to Sony. So
Sony Entertainment System.
What were your kind of expectations of Sony's press conference this year?
I
quite like the console reveal was pretty good. I thought.
That guy just came out with it. Oh, the console reveal for back, way back.
Yeah.
I did like that actually. It was good.
I felt the console reveal was better.
It was a better console reveal than Microsoft, but not by much. Not as much as people were saying.
It was more appealing to me than what Microsoft was, because
just
Microsoft
the way the conference
focused on the wrong things. Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right in that sense, because I think. But I suppose that then to me is a good and a bad thing, because with Microsoft it was cool because they got that out the way separately, and I think that's why the E3 conference was better for me. But for Sony, it was good because they got to have the excitement of the console reveal with the looks of it, as well as their games, which again is a great thing to be able to show both at once.
Yeah.
I'm just the reason that I liked Microsoft's better was because I can remember more for that. See, if I think back to it, I can't remember nearly as much about Sony's as I can about Microsoft.
I think it's just information overload, though.
I did maybe get to that point, because that was like, was it 3 or 4 in the morning for us? It didn't start until 4.
Yeah, I can't remember half of the trailers. I've got notes of games that I genuinely cannot even remember seeing a trailer for, but I know that I did.
I come home from work at 6:10, and the Microsoft one had already started, so I was straight on the laptop, putting Microsoft one on, and that was me watching it from then until 4:30 in the morning. I was the same.
I was working till midnight, annoyingly, so I missed the Microsoft stuff live, but got good updates from you, and I tuned into the Sony one. I thought the Sony conference was really well done, really well spoken by all their kind of interviewees, like the kind of different heads of Sony departments and different heads of companies or games. Definitely, it was a really well made broadcast, I feel like, or conference I should say, but again, I feel like already I'm like, games wise, I was like, what blew me away? I mean, Killzone for me has never been a killer IP where I've been like, can't wait for Killzone, love Killzone. It looked phenomenal.
It does look brilliant, but it's always been kind of throwaway for me. It's been decent, good, solid, but nothing spectacular.
See, yeah, I mean, based on the games that they'd actually shown, there was quite a lot of indie games, which is something that was quite interesting, because it was really missing from Microsoft's. That
was a really good part of Sony's, was the indie conferences having different kind of heads on stage.
Yeah, because recently, over the past 6 months or so, you've heard quite a lot of kind of horror stories from people that have been saying that they'd worked with Microsoft, like indie developers that have worked with Microsoft and didn't really feel like they'd been treated too well, or they didn't have a kind of fair shot or whatever. And like, so much so that you're seeing that with like Fez 2 that was just announced, I think it was just announced just after E3 or just during E3. You know, Phil Fish is saying that it's not coming out for the Xbox, which is quite, and he was saying specifically because of the difficulties that he had working with them. And so for Sony to come on stage and have these indie developers actually standing there showing off their games
with their games already there.
I mean, some of the games weren't massively impressive to me. Well, I suppose it's very hard to tell from a tiny wee glimpse, but what
were the kind of different kind of indie games?
What
was the name of the horror one again?
Outlast.
Outlast
to me, I was going to buy anyway, because that's been on my radar since it was announced. I'll be getting that on PC, yeah.
And that to me, that looks brilliant, and like you've been talking about that for a while now. From PC,
but there was quite a few. There was the Octodad one, which I know that you thought was, but again, that's been on PC for a while.
That looked hilarious. I just thought that just looks,
that is like weird.
Just so strange to control. It looks annoying, but not in a way that I wouldn't want to play it. It just looks totally bizarre, and that interests me because it's something a bit different.
I think it was a remake of Oddworld, if I remember correctly.
HD.
Don't Starve as well, which is again already out on PC. And there was a couple of others, and I can't actually remember half of them. I think
there was a kind of cave one, a kind of like a Zelda type one, which didn't.
What was it, Mercenary Kings or something like that? There was quite a lot. There was quite a few there, but it's even the fact that they're showing quite an interest in indie developers, and then Microsoft really didn't show anything like that. And I think they've since said that they're dedicated to bringing indie games and stuff. But if they were that dedicated, then they would have had something to show. And it didn't really feel like they had much to show in the way of kind of indie games. But I mean, is games, exclusive games in general,
I think it's exclusive, because that's what I'm trying. Cause
you've got current gen things like you've got Beyond Two Souls, which was shown. Last of Us was shown as well, so that's just been released. Gran Turismo 6, I think it's coming out at the end of this year.
We'll be getting that.
Pretty sure that's.
That's got cars. Ian's obviously not getting it.
I'm pretty sure that is PS3. I don't think that is. No, that is PS3. They showed quite a couple of third-party things like Arkham Origins and Grand Theft Auto. Well, they didn't show Grand Theft Auto, but they said they were getting exclusive content
They
and
talked.
stuff like
They
that.
kind of mentioned it.
As far as new things, there was that one that was The Order 1886, which was that weird.
Kind of.
I don't really know what to make
Van
of it.
Helsing type thing.
It was like Van Helsing steampunk.
I
don't
think it looks
know
really.
what's
I like the idea of it from the trailer. I thought
It was just a CGI video, but that wasn't anything in game. But
well, obviously, but I like the idea of it. But
that's why I
don't
feel
know.
I'm trying not to sound
you
like
can't say too much on it.
I'm trying not to sound like a pure Xbox fanboy, but I do feel like the Sony games, I was less blown away by them.
I mean, that was a CG trailer, but then you look at Halo 5. Well, if it's going to be Halo 5, I don't know what it's going to be. That was a short 30-second CG
there's
trailer
nothing
as
to
well.
that.
So, I mean, I think as games that were kind of demoed and shown off quite a bit. I mean, Killzone, that is going to be a launch title.
Aye.
There was that Drive Club, which I thought looked really cool. I quite like the idea of that. That was the one where it was like, well, like it says from the title, like you have
Driving.
You're in a mad club and you drive.
A driving club, brilliant.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for another
then,
fucking driving
no,
game.
but then it's like you're chasing
down other cars, brilliant driving.
You're chasing down other groups and stuff
I
like
may as well
that
just
and ramming them off the road. That's not driving. That's like
that's get in a
carnage.
car and you're driving.
I suppose. I mean, for me, and I love racing games like Mario Kart, Burnouts, Gran Turismo's, and everything in between. I do generally love them all. But to me, for a new racing IP, I was kind of like that. Well, what's going to take me to that over Forza or even Gran Turismo? To me, looks better.
But it's not. But it's different. That's the thing. Because see, if it was trying to be like Forza or Sony don't need something that's like Gran Turismo because they've got Gran Turismo.
They've got that. Well, that's true.
And
So
it's just like Microsoft will never invest in a game that's like Forza because they have Forza.
they have it there. So I suppose I should give it.
You're
give
being
it
a fanboy.
That's why it is. It sounds like it's been a fanboy. I want the game to be amazing because if that turned out to be the best racing game of the new generation, I would happily buy it and happily eat my words and say I was wrong. That's better than Forza. I
think
don't
that
think
was
it will be.
the one that they were saying, and I might be wrong here, but I think that was the one that they were saying that you get with PlayStation Plus, something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and PlayStation Plus is now mandatory.
Is it?
Aye. Actually, yeah. And that
same like Xbox Live's mandatory.
That in itself is a huge thing because up to now, I think people quite rightly.
However, they're still obviously going to be giving these free games. Microsoft's one's quite interesting because even though they said they're going to give 2 free games a month, they said up to the launch of the Xbox One.
They didn't say if it was going to.
So it might continue. I personally don't see how Microsoft can continue asking people for £40
and not do
for
something like that.
absolutely nothing. It's the most basic of services. It's almost robbery, I think, because for 20 odd years people have been playing online games on the PC without any extra cost. And I don't understand why Microsoft think it's
why they done it in the first place.
It's okay to ask people for money.
And that's me 8 years on Xbox Live that I've been paying £40 a year.
And it's like
that's mental when you think about it.
They shouldn't make it that it's like it's almost like a tax. It's almost like something that's forced upon you, rather than with the PlayStation Plus. You want to buy it because you're getting some amazing games.
But I suppose
discounts as well.
And discounts, yeah.
And I suppose now they're both kind of coming to the realisation that we kind of want to keep our charges here, or in Sony's case, they want to put our charge on it, but they both want to equate to a similar service.
Well, I don't know if Microsoft are because, like I said, they're saying up to the launch of the Xbox One. And I would. Did
they not say they can't run any Xbox games on a new console anyway?
Well, I don't
By
know.
disk space,
maybe they offer it as download. I don't know how it works. Like,
I suppose there's things like that
or
with pricing
they
and
might give
things
you arcade games. They could give you arcade games or indie titles or something like that.
I suppose these things are still a bit.
Minecraft 1.
Oh, they would.
No, they're going to be definitely selling that one.
But with Sony, one thing I thought, like the Kingdom Hearts reveal was amazing.
That was cool.
But again, it's now that is multi-platform.
Along with Final Fantasy 15, yeah.
And Destiny looked phenomenal.
That did look.
But again,
really
that's
cool.
multi-platform.
See, I think Destiny's going to get a lot of special treatment from. I mean, it seems like Bungie have sided with Sony. Definitely, obviously shown it off at the press conference and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then they've already come out and said that they're going to get bonus content. So I think they're going to make a push for, if you own both consoles, you should really be playing Destiny on the PS4.
But to me, like the the biggest and best looking game for the Sony conference for me was Destiny, which is multi-platform. That's just
again, it depends on what you mean by best looking. I mean,
I mean best looking. I mean overall
game. I would probably say
overall. I mean that's including looks as well as what looks like cool gameplay, interesting characters.
See, there's things that
there's
things that I'm really interested in finding out. I want to find more about certain things, but Destiny's been just talked about for so long, and then actually seeing a gameplay demo was just incredible.
It looked so good.
But you know, I'm really, really excited for Destiny. I think it does look amazing. I'm trying to think of kind of what else. I mean, they made quite an impression on the fanboys, and then those that just get caught up in the kind of PR
they made a few,
hype or whatever.
A few wee digs at Microsoft.
Yeah,
that was disappointing to me because I like both companies. I don't like companies making digs. That annoys me.
I think Sony have done that. They did that with quite a few. They released that little advert where it's like how to share games with friends. And it's
just disrespectful. Well, not disrespectful.
And I think now it's
cheap. They should have just said, "Oh, this is our policy," and people will know already. They don't need to make a cheap pop.
And there's
to make the point.
And because of the reaction, I mean, I think as a company, Sony had quite a right to do that, because at the end of the day, at that point in time, they were leading the way in the way they were treating the games and the DRM policies and the sharing abilities. At that time, it was absolutely better. But I think there's definitely an element of egg in your face now to a degree, because Microsoft, to their credit, has said, well, do you know what? You're right. We were wrong. We shouldn't have done that, and they've amended it big time.
Well, that's something. Yeah, I mean that was something that I was going to say, because obviously Microsoft has changed their policies, and I don't think it's necessarily a case of Microsoft being wrong. I think it's like Microsoft were pushing for a digital future,
which is going to happen anyway,
and it's now a case of. I mean, it's interesting because we were all really happy with, oh great, there's no more, DRM, there's no more restriction on used games, it's region free, but in doing that, they've sacrificed a couple of features. Like you're now not going to get. You're now going to have to use the disc, whereas previously it was
you didn't need the disc.
You put the disc in, install it. You don't need the disc anymore.
I mean, they're definitely cool features, but to me, them being missing is.
But I could have went to your house on your Xbox One and played a game that you don't own.
Which I was saying to you, to be fair, is a really cool feature.
And now I can do that.
Now you can't. So
without taking the disc.
You can take downloaded. You can play downloaded content. So you can play disc based.
I think it's that. I think it's that whole thing is now gone.
No, I read that you can play, let's say, your arcade.
Oh,
games,
sorry,
it's
but not
only
disc.
for disc games.
Sorry.
Bought disc games, but you can still. They said whenever a game's released, you can still buy it on the Xbox Live service and download it there and then from like midnight the release day.
So I just think it's one of those things that, on the one hand, I think it's kind of good that they've changed it, but on the other hand, it would have been interesting to see if they just stuck to their guns and kind of went with it, because further down the line it could have been seen as one of the most kind of revolutionary. That is probably a bit extreme, but it could have been a huge kind of innovation.
The backlash was so big, though.
Well, that's the thing. You can't.
It wasn't just a kind of 50. It wasn't just a kind of 50-50 backlash, was it? It was.
Like
but I don't think it was necessarily all the kind of fanboys, because there's always console wars. There's always people arguing Sony's better, Microsoft's better. I don't think it was necessarily that. Because no matter what Microsoft or Sony did,
people were still going to buy both.
Do that. You would have still defended Microsoft regardless of what they did.
Yeah, I would have still been buying it. I would have still been.
So I think it was more maybe Sony pushed their hand a wee bit, them announcing it, making it so obvious.
I think it was quite telling that was their biggest reaction at Sony, was the announcement of that. The place went absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, chants of Sony.
It was like
Sony's. That was lame. No matter what, I would never have. The only way that I would have actually done that is if Gabe Newell walked out and said, "Okay, Half-Life 3 exclusive to PS4, and I am giving everyone in this room a PS4."
But that would.
And even then, I wouldn't chant Sony. I would chant like Gabe.
But that would have been reason to be ranting, because I think. That's why I think I was overall disappointed with Sony, because they felt like they went about it not a totally wrong way, because I still believe they had the right to say it, because they were the ones that done it first and they said they were going to do that and make it easy to share. But I just feel like the people in the crowd and that, I was like, they were going nuts for it. And I'm just
I think that was because of the audience that's there. It's 100% gamers that are there, and Sony were very clearly targeting gamers.
Which made it effective, with the indie developers being there, with that being there. So
yeah, they were 100% targeting gamers, and that's, you know, like
Microsoft, that's what they should be doing anyway, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there's an argument that it should be, but you know, a lot of people are saying that the real battle isn't necessarily for games; it is for the living room.
It's for everything. It's
for
everything else that it does as well.
Wanting to control your living room with everything. So yeah, it's a games console, but it needs to do a lot more.
Because like you say, Sony fanboys are going to buy the PS4 regardless. Xbox fanboys are going to buy the Xbox One regardless. So you're right, I think the battle's going to be won in what else it does, or what else it maybe picks up people who are on the fence. I mean, I think it'd be so hard if you're on the fence, maybe not a huge gamer, but you know you've got a family, maybe with kids, and thinking, what would I get?
I think this year they are very close this year in terms of what they can and can't do.
Because they're both the big thing.
I think right now, like in terms of what they can, like specs, the PS4 is
slightly better.
Is slightly higher spec.
Not by much, not as much as people are saying. Oh, it's much stronger PC. Oh, it's consoles. Like,
ultimately, at the end of the day,
it's going to be strong,
they're both inferior to the PC.
Oh, totally. They always will be.
And they always will be.
Always will be.
But I think the PS4 is definitely higher spec, but I think it ultimately comes down to games, really. I think,
and that's why I think if you cut out everything else,
that'll decide what you're going to buy. Because
if you were only going to buy one, for example, yeah, that would come down to it. Well, what game do I prefer? And I think taking all the bullshit away from cost, from looks, from features, specs, for extras, when I bring it down just to the games and the games alone, Xbox wins it for me.
Because that's probably why it would have been a harder sell as well. If they kept all that DRM stuff in there and it was still £429, and Sony are coming out saying, no, it's £349, and you're not getting any of that DRM stuff, when that hypothetical customer comes round and says,
I'm going to
get a games console, and they're both very similar spec, they've both got very similar games, you're probably going to side with PlayStation.
See I don't get the whole, I get some of it, the whole used DRM thing, but why is it such a problem when Steam has been doing it for so long and PC's been doing it for so long?
Well, that's the other argument, because at the end of the day, Steam has came along and used games don't exist on Steam.
So why is it such?
Because I think the way Microsoft.
I think it's what people are used to, though.
But it's the way it's what console gamers are used to, and it's also the way Microsoft were doing it felt really
forced. Though, is it?
It just felt really stupid and really heavy-handed. Like they're checking up on you every 24 hours. Like, I know, you need to contact us to let us know what you're doing.
Because again, for me that meant nothing. Because when was the last time we all played on our Xboxes when we weren't online?
My point of view has always been, it's not necessarily the fact that you need to do it, it's the fact that they're asking you to do it. It's like, if I'm ever playing a game, I'm online. However, I don't like the idea of them telling me
being forced. You
need to check in with us.
And then again, like you say, what if the internet's down for 3 days?
It's a very real possibility. Yeah,
I mean, every now and then my internet goes down as well, and normally it's fixed fairly quick, but you're right. I mean, you could be in the middle of a weekend off at work, and all you want to do is play the computer, and you're screwed. If your internet's off,
that is just the worst thing. And I think that's. It just seemed like it wasn't well thought out. So.
No, it wasn't ever good business. No, it definitely wasn't.
Anyway, with the price being $399, £349,
British pounds sterling.
what were your thoughts on that?
Price is good, great. That's
can't complain with that.
Yeah,
compared to what was the PS3 was something astronomical, wasn't it? Was that not like 4?
I remember the PS3 being quite high. Yeah,
that was like well, where'd that come from? But I think they've realised now, man, we need to kind of put a good price on this, and it's a great price.
I can't complain.
Next gen console.
I think it is a quite a decent price, and it's obviously
they could have easily come out and said $399.
And the interesting thing about that is that they're not forcing their camera on it. You know, that camera's going to be there for you to buy.
But then again, that's what you can say. Well, the Xbox has it and it hasn't got these, and the prices are worth it. So if they're going to try and
that's because they're forcing you to buy it.
They're forcing you to buy it.
And
that's the whole
there's
point.
No choice.
And they're actually forcing you to use it as well.
You said you can switch it off, but it still needs to be connected to the console.
I just find that again. I mean,
it's just the force issue. That obviously
must have been such a hard sell just after E3. I never really thought about it until now, But saying that with Connect, it has to be connected. The
You have to go
you need to
online.
log in every 24. It seems like work, like hard work, actually using the console. But now, and then when you see the PS4, it's like, just do what you want, just play it whenever you want. You don't need to buy a PlayStation camera. You don't need to
sign in online and all that
to play your games. It just seems.
I'm
not surprised that everyone was kind of more into Sony after the press conference. Anyway,
what about? I mean,
that's.
Do we even bother talking about Nintendo conference wise?
Fuck off.
Well,
Nintendo.
That's not nice, Ian.
Nintendo is pretty much, well.
One thing I said before,
half these games wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Nintendo.
Well, that's
that,
it.
fuck them now.
And talking about
TV.
Talking about fanboys, I was a Nintendo fanboy on every console generation up until the Wii.
I think I had them on GameCube and
the NES beat Sega Master System, then the SNES beat the Mega Drive for me. The Saturn, everything Nintendo were the absolute best over everyone for me up until the Wii, and that's when I felt like they maybe got a little misguided. And I think right now, actually related to Sony as well, I don't think Sony should bother with handhelds. I think the Vita is a write-off. I know it's not that
they're still trying to push it.
Not that it's not got redeeming features, because it really does have redeeming features, and it has some great games coming out for it, as they actually showed at E3 as well. But with Sony and Nintendo, they have their strengths right now. Nintendo, hands down, win the handheld battle every day for me right now. And with Sony have got a great console and the best name. Because I love Sony as a company for electronics, is camera, TV, DVD players, music systems. I've got a Sony Walkman still. I love Sony as a company, but I think they should play to their strengths, and I think Sony should forget about the Vita, and I think Nintendo, I feel bad to say forget about consoles, but they're not winning the same people over, and they have amazing handhelds with amazing games for the DS.
Still used to the competition there, though, for the DS. You can't just have one handheld console. You need more than one. It needs to be competition.
And likewise for the console, there's a huge...
That's why there used to be at least two consoles.
I'm right. I'm saying. Well, I did say I was writing off the consoles for Nintendo, but I just feel like.
But they haven't produced it well. The Wii.
And the Wii U.
The Wii U has its fans though. There are people
I know people have got
that are very into it. But
Colin absolutely loves the Wii U.
I did. He mentioned that he really liked some of the stuff on it, and I would like to. I just don't, because I've got the Xbox and the PS3. I'm like, I don't see any need for it.
The thing is, it's like a vicious kind of circle with it, because
it's never going to catch up.
It's not selling as well, I think, as people would like it to, and it's generally because, and then that leads into the fact it's really not getting good third party support right now at all. See, a lot of these big games that you saw at E3, the vast majority of them weren't on Wii U.
I know.
As well, obviously they're on 360, PS3,
half them
PS4.
couldn't even run on it.
Xbox One. Well, they probably could. I mean,
they could
scaled back versions of it. They probably could.
Did EA not come out and say they're stopping? They're not stopping completely, but they're scaling back their support for the Wii.
And I think it's just because nobody's
buying.
Nobody's buying it because there isn't support there. There are
like you say, it's a vicious circle into
it's
it,
not
because
even
it's
that.
like,
Because I wouldn't. I mean.
Yeah, but I don't think you're.
Even if the games are out for it, I wouldn't buy one for it, because there's not enough original games on it, exclusive games that I would want.
Well, all the exclusive games that they have, bar Bayonetta 2, which is really gutting. I'm gutted that that's on that.
I know that's
the
insane,
majority
isn't it,
of the majority of
that?
the exclusive games are all just first party games. It's just the same old stuff.
So I agree. I think it's gutting to say that you're gutted the game's coming out for something.
But I mean, I suppose it's great on the one hand that they have an exclusive as amazing as Bayonetta 2, but I can almost guarantee right now that will probably not sell that well.
I know.
Whereas see if that came out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, that would sell like crazy. That was one of the best games that came out this generation.
Well, no, I didn't think it was that great.
That is ridiculous, Ian. Fucking hell, man.
That's a podcast episode in its own right, talking about that.
Nah, I didn't. I'm not that big into those kind of games. Let's say the Devil May Cry type things, because it is similar to that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I wasn't big on Devil May Cry's either. Apart from the latest one, I really enjoyed the latest Devil May Cry. But
Bayonetta's way better than that. I mean, that was really good, but Bayonetta's like... Bayonetta is the best at this generation, for me personally.
In that genre?
Of that style
in that
genre,
genre,
game?
It would be my ultimate... I couldn't even attempt to go there. But
it's a huge conversation.
Yeah, but... yeah, definitely.
So let's just end it there. Right, Bayonetta, done. What are you talking about, Nintendo?
Yeah, but apart from that, I didn't see... I mean, they have some good 3DS.
That's what I'm
Is there
saying.
a new Zelda coming out or something?
3DS. Oh, no, wait.
Is that
3DS?
Well, there's a link between two worlds, which is a kind of style of A Link to the Past on the NES.
Yeah.
And I've seen it videos and it looks amazing. And that's what I'm saying, the handheld stuff.
Is that just the 3DS?
Aye.
See,
Smash Brothers DS.
See, that would be pretty good in the
That
Wii U.
looks insane.
On the Wii U, I think that'll probably do really well.
And on the Wii U, that'll be a brilliant game.
I think
But
almost anyone that has a Wii U will probably get that.
Absolutely.
I would like to think.
What else was in the 3DS? I'm sure there was more things. There was a Zelda, Smash Brothers.
No Metroid game, was there? No
Metroid
No,
game.
that was interestingly lacking. They didn't have a Metroid game at all. Which I mean, again, the Wii U would be quite good for that, I think.
With the Wii fucking different.
If it was in the vein, as the ones that they did in the GameCube, then
Wii U iPad.
Yeah,
touch.
But Nintendo overall, it's sad to say after loving them for so many years, with all the stuff they've done. But
I think it's maybe if you're a fan, then you'll find things to love. But I just think because we've sort of fell away from them,
focus has definitely changed. For I mean, again, I didn't know Iain that many years ago, but. I
was into Nintendo like you, big time. I had my NES. My mum and dad went and got me the SNES. Loved it. GameCube. I wasn't into.
Ian, you've just missed a generation of the best console of all time. Get a grip of yourself, Ian.
N64, I got that as well. Loved it. GameCube is when I started to slip. Even though I love Rogue Squadron games, Star Wars games,
the GameCube was an incredible console.
It was brilliant, I know, but that's when I started to slip.
I was actually I pulled out on my GameCube games.
I've still got
yesterday.
a GameCube.
I've actually got some amazing games.
GameCube is still incredible, man.
And I love how small the Wii discs are. Such
tiny
a
mini.
They're just dead cool. They're like just these tiny Wii discs.
And it was, but that's it. I suppose, like you say, it's not. They've still got their strong points, Nintendo, absolutely, and they've got an amazing handheld machine. They have got a good console, but
I just think it's who they're maybe who they're targeting as well. Because I remember when I worked in the shop and we were selling all these Wii games, and I remember
the people that were buying them.
Good games that came out. You were seeing games like No More Heroes, Okami, Resident Evil 4. No one was buying them. All these shitty party games and all these clones of party games. That's what everyone was buying.
Because of who was buying it.
And now those people, those developers, probably won't want to make a game for the Wii or the Wii U.
Because I think, well, I'm sitting with a brilliant IP. Do I release it on the Wii U? It's probably not going to sell well. I would say an Xbox and PlayStation, absolutely.
But do you know what's really annoying is that I would maybe go out on a limb and say that Resident Evil 4 on the Wii was my favourite version of it, and I've played Resident Evil 4 on almost every platform. I've played it on
the GameCube.
I played it on the PS2, played it on the Wii, played it on the iPad, and played it
on the PC.
I
mean, for me, that's. But
I do love the GameCube version is second. But I think that it was the best and most responsive.
I would put it in my top 5 games of all time on every single console, and I've touched it on like your iPads, and I've played it. I think got yours on the PC once, and the PS2 one, and I played it on the Wii again, but I didn't. But then the GameCube one for me was just insane, and that's one of my favourite games of all time, and that's on the GameCube for me. And that's
so safe to say after Nintendo showing at E3 that neither one of you are going to go out and buy a Wii U.
Nah.
If somebody said to me, "I'll give a Wii U for £50," then I would buy it.
Yeah, I think.
And Craig's got one. He bought one at.
Does he actually?
Why does Craig have one? Oh no, actually, I remember
he
said
that. He was in Greece and he was like, "I'm bored here. I feel like I want to buy a console, but I'm just going to buy a Wii U." And I was like, "Alright," so I bought one.
Craig is a mysterious being who,
putting it mildly, will almost definitely appear at some point on these.
Yeah, he'll definitely be on the podcast at some point.
But he said he bought his and he got Mario and stuff, and he really enjoyed it. But it took him like one night to complete it, and then I think he's played it since. Really.
Yeah, but I think that's true of Mario games.
That's Mario games. It's not a slight on Mario games at all. But I think that's why he said. I don't know if he's going to bring it back and then sell it or something. So.
It's kind of a little bit more throwaway, but
I'd get one and I'd play like the Mario. There's not much else on it.
Zombie
U, maybe. But that's about it.
I like that. I like the look of that.
Looks really good.
But apparently it's pretty average.
Nah, I've heard it's not that good.
I wouldn't want to get a console and then have what's the title that I'm getting with my console? A pure average
zombie game.
It's not really going to make me love that console.
And a decent Mario game, and that's about all I would get. So there's no point in me getting one.
Anyway,
so nothing makes me go. Alright, so what we're going to finish up on the.
Well, we've now got.
We've got your Xbox, Sony, Nintendo touched on consoles, launch titles.
Quickly, I mean, these shouldn't be as long. We've got the publishers, we've got EA and Ubisoft. So where do we want to start?
Ubi.
I'll start with EA. They had... they started actually.
A barrage of sports, as usual.
Well, yeah, EA
Sports,
but
it's in the game.
obviously a massive...
It's inevitable. I mean, they all have brilliant licenses in your FIFA, your NFL games. I don't care about your NHL games, which I do. NBA, they're all huge and they'll sell millions. So.
And where else can you get stadiums full of emotion?
Totes emotion.
I think like they.
Oh, that stuff just makes you cringe, doesn't it? It's just.
Yeah, I mean, I've got what
especially was it Drake coming out and.
Oh my god, what was
so
that?
Annoying. The guy using spoken
I
words.
really love playing FIFA. No, you don't. I bet he's, maybe he does. I don't know, but it just seems forced.
It's so forced, and it's like here's 200 grand. Go out and promote our game.
There was a guy coming and done spoken word, like kind of a rap almost, but it wasn't even a rap. It was just spoken word, like a poem or something.
Was that?
And it was fucking stupid. I'm pretty sure it was.
I like your technical analysis of that.
Just tell us what the fucking game
Where
is.
was that? Was the weirdest thing ever. But
that was annoying. It annoyed me. It made me want to just look away and stop watching it. So I'll just look at the trailer for FIFA because I don't want to care.
You want to see the game. You want to. But
tell me about the game. Don't tell me.
That's very forgettable for me.
Quite a few sports games. Obviously, NBA Live 14, Madden 25, FIFA 14, and UFC, which it felt really weird because it felt almost as if like UFC feels big to us because we watch it, but I think it felt weird there because
nobody really did.
No one responded.
Then none the crowd.
No one really responded. I think they were like scared. Like Dana White's coming out and like shouting at people.
A bit timid.
And it's like I bet they were just like.
But it is one of the biggest growing sports in the world.
I know. And it was bigger there before it was big here. So I think you're right in saying I think it must have been who they were in front of at that specific moment in time because that game will be huge and those people are within their own rights.
It's
super
interesting
famous,
how that came about though because obviously
because
he went to EA originally,
and they told me fuck off. And
then he went to THQ. Was it THQ?
It was THQ.
And now they're done.
And then EA came to them, did they know? Because their deal ran out with it.
I don't know how the deal came about.
That's been a big kind of battle. Like
I'm pretty sure it was EA went to them and said, "We'll make your game for you."
And quite rightly so because they realised they were in the wrong. They realised that's a huge license of what has been a brilliant game series.
It's hardly them acknowledging that they were in the wrong. They were obviously just saying, "Right,
we made a mistake.
There is money to be made."
Because they went to THQ and said,
it's
fucking huge now. They try to make their own MMA game. Remember that game that EA brought out?
It was just called MMA Elite or something.
And it was pretty enough. I
they didn't show anything really from the game.
It was a video. CGI video.
So it's more just a premise of what could be.
Probably going to be.
It'll probably be decent.
I mean, the way the Undisputed games 1, 2, and 3 have been, the build quality of the game is incredible, and like the motion capture is second to none sort of stuff, and it's like all fully licensed. All the fighters that you want to play with and is against are all there. So I mean,
great. But as much as I like watching it, playing it.
It's a very difficult game.
It's difficult to get going. I could pick up and play a few games. No, I'll maybe first get it and play it for the weekend. Then I'll probably.
But maybe, hopefully, they'll maybe do something a bit more accessible this time for me. Because I'm
I like the basics. But see when it goes into the detail.
I'm totally with Iain on UFC games. I'm on the surface brilliant. Just pick up and play it. It feels brilliant. But then I soon realise that maybe I'm not going to play this as much as I hoped.
EA will maybe bring in a slightly easier way of controlling it. But.
I mean, other games that were there, obviously Titanfall, which you've already really discussed. Need for Speed Rivals, which...
Another racing game? GG?
You find that one, yeah.
Which I didn't really...
Can I wait?
I didn't really... I mean, again, maybe it's just because I felt like I've played a lot of Need for Speed games lately. There has been quite a few.
But to be fair, though, they were really poor and then got really good again. So... what's to stop that being amazing as well?
I suppose.
But then again, you put it again the same argument as your Drive Club and your Forza. You put it in amongst these ones. What's going to differentiate, depending on the release schedule, if they're close together? But what's going to determine you to buy one over the other? That's why I think that sort of game will get lost.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And what else was that? The Need for Speed movie obviously looks incredible.
Looks brilliant.
That was actually.
a film about cars.
That looked just really
pure shoed in. It was shoed in.
There's
a film called Need for Speed.
It was. It was right, like it was. Cool. It was like, who cares?
Shit. This is a fucking games convention kind of conference. We don't care.
It felt like, I mean, looking at this stuff here, it genuinely feels like a lot of time is spent on sports. But EA are obviously going to do that because that's one of their biggest things. I mean, obviously they had Battlefield 4 as well. And was that the one where they had the 64 players?
Nah, playing all in.
Which is amazing, and that gameplay demo was incredible.
That's what got me so excited for it. Seeing that multiplayer demo.
Single player video. I've even seen a single player video and was really impressed by it, but the multiplayer one blew me away.
The single player one I almost disregarded because I thought, okay, brilliant, that's running on an insanely high spec PC. It probably won't look anything like that. So it looks great. I want to see the multiplayer. Multiplayer again is probably the same idea. Running on a very high spec PC, it's probably not going to look anything like that, but it should play like that, and that just looks really, really fun.
Looked well exciting. So Battlefield for me, fucking big positive.
The biggest thing for me, and it's probably not the biggest thing for most people, because the biggest thing for most people is what I'm going to ask you about just next.
But Dragon Age.
No,
not for you.
No, not for me. No, Mirror's Edge.
Oh, fucking Mirror's Edge. That's right. I totally forgot about it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we knew it was coming because just before there was these
kind of leaks,
rumours, then there was leaks that they were updating their information page with information about Mirror's Edge and stuff. It would have been nice to have seen a wee bit more, but obviously it might just be quite early in development. I'm not really too sure.
It definitely will be.
But it looks good. I mean, I love Mirror's Edge. It's one of, again, if I was to do a list of like 20 games, because I wouldn't want to limit myself, it would be in there.
just the 20, not even top 3, top 5, top 20.
No, there's too many.
I
put that in there because that was incredible.
Games.
And there's still nothing like it in my opinion.
Definitely not.
Even
though I didn't care for it much.
It was original. It was so original.
Art style was so nice as well, and it was like
just the gameplay as well was different
because everything's so grimy and dirty and. In big releases, and indie titles, it's usually a wee bit different.
They're going for that more style. So, but you're definitely right. It stands out. I mean, I can't think of a single game like it.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. But the game that I think most people were
just laughing at myself.
The game that most people were kind of excited about was
fucking Star Wars.
Aye, Battlefront.
Are you looking forward to that, Ian?
I just came my pants about 4 times. So. Even that so small clip, just to know they're working on it, has got me so excited. And because it's EA, it's doing it. So was it DICE as well?
DICE, aye.
Did they say it was DICE?
I think DICE came up on the thing.
Oh, sorry, it was after they were talking about. Wait, was it?
Because it's DICE guy came out because he was talking about Battlefield.
It came up.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
And then it was like, we've also got
on the tiny video. It did say DICE.
Okay.
It was a very short video. I didn't expect anymore.
You just know with the quality of the previous ones, with the company that's making it now, you know it's going to be great.
It can't fail with who's in charge of it. And don't look at me that like Chris. You know it won't fail.
I mean, for me, like obviously they've got.
Christopher's always a pessimist with these sort of things.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day,
with
the license that EA have. They have some good developers there. They could. I mean, what I would love is DICE to do Battlefront.
Was it for
Criterion to do a pod racer?
That doesn't even bear thinking about for me. I would lose my nut.
And then who else have they got? Like Visceral could do.
I think BioWare.
BioWare could do another Knights of the Old Republic.
They've already said BioWare are working on one. Not on the Knights of the Republic. They've already said BioWare are working on a new Star Wars game.
Both lose absolute nut.
BioWare could easily do a Knights of the Old Republic.
I know.
They obviously should. Like, and then Visceral could do like a. They could do 1313 or a bounty hunter game or something like that.
They'll have so much in the works. They've already said there's already 4 games in Star Wars games in works.
The potential is
working on
ridiculous.
More in the future.
I think I'd be most excited about BioWare. And then also, I mean, I'm saying that this is actually happening. But I am actually most excited for this officially confirmed and announced Knights of the Republic and Pod Racer.
No, Battlefront.
It's a good thought.
Battlefront would be good, but with the exception of that stuff, I mean, there wasn't really much else that was that amazing. That weird Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare looked really crazy.
I love Plants vs Zombies. It's a great license to work on.
Obviously, very, very different.
So
it looked fun, but they're just trying to capture the FPS market, the first person market, shooter market.
Third person. But
good England, Dean.
I was a bit of both, isn't it?
I think it looked.
Seeing switch a bit.
I think it looked, I don't know, pretty good. I guess they're maybe trying to, maybe it's like a crossing over game for people. Like, if they like Plants vs Zombies and they want them to get into console games and they don't necessarily want to take the leap and go into like hyper violent Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, they can transition into Plants vs Zombies.
And putting it on consoles is going to give it a huge market. So
I actually really like the look of it. I think a lot of people were really confused by it because it is just the weirdest looking thing ever. But yeah, I actually really like the look of it. And then also there was the crazy guy that did the big massive jump and then said Peggle 2 was coming.
Such a fucking idiot. What a gimp, man.
See, be honest, I was actually really excited.
Peggle's brilliant.
I wanted to jump.
I wanted
to jump as well. Peggle's amazing.
These sort of things make you cringe.
He looked like a gimp. He looked so staged. What was the wee sayings that he had? Because remember they made up loads of wee fancy words.
There was the stadium's full of emotion. MMAI. True Step.
What was that for?
Locomotion system.
Oh my god, what they do in a train game?
Bounce tech, and then I love the full body deformation, which I actually think should be the title of a game. Like
full body deformation.
I would buy that. That sounds like some sort of fatality in Mortal Kombat.
Fatality.
So finally we have
Ubisoft,
which was actually quite a good wee conference. It wasn't annoying. I actually quite liked.
There was wee bits annoying.
What's her name? Aisha.
No, she annoyed me.
I actually really liked her.
I liked her as an actress as well, but she really annoyed me.
But the good thing about her is that she is a pure geek.
I like that, but it's just the things she said.
She gets genuine girlwood when it comes.
Genuine girlwood, yeah.
When it comes to.
Is that what she said?
Aye.
She was wearing a T-shirt with hashtag girlwood because she said it last year, and then I think she was trying to make it a thing and get it trending.
Nobody's.
It's definitely not caught on, has it?
Well, I mean, I liked her.
I'm indifferent to her.
She was much better than the crazy Mr. Caffeine guy from last year.
That was crazy.
That guy
she wasn't terrible. That's me just exaggerating. But there was wee bits that annoyed me, wee things she said that annoyed me that just seemed so. I know it was all scripted and stuff, but.
So Ubisoft was quite good. I mean, they obviously had current gen. They had Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Can't wait.
I didn't like the video they done for it. The video was terrible.
Hated the layout of it. It was like
horrible.
It was just, I don't even know what to look at.
Yeah, there's so much going on in that scene. Where do I look? The game looks phenomenal. Just shows one video. Frame. So it shows all this shite as if it's fucking.
They try to just bewilder you, I guess, with these things.
It's like, whoa. See if they just remember the video they showed. When was it last, Steve? No, it wasn't.
It feels like it's been in development for ages.
Remember the video where they showed a playthrough of it of a level.
Oh, that was last year's E3, yeah.
That looked phenomenal. See if they just showed something similar like that. I'd have been fucking over the moon.
I mean, I saw the Spies vs Mercs trailer.
Which looks so cool.
I mean, I loved that mode.
It was fun.
Always one of my favourite
I think it's
multiplayer modes.
A definite fan favourite as well.
Absolutely. So. And they obviously could tell that, and they put it in, and that's had a great reaction. So
I'm glad it's making a bit of a comeback, and that's out in August, which is amazing.
That's not too long.
Not far away at all.
Rayman Legends, I really liked the look of. I really like the last one. I think it's a wee bit of a controversial one because it's had a bit of a massive delay because they were wanting to release it on more consoles. So it was originally, I think it was originally a Wii U exclusive, and now it's coming out on multiple consoles.
That'll be good. It'll be solid, no doubt.
South Park. I mean, I thought that looked brilliant. The
wee trailer was cool, but yeah, again, I've still not seen much of it. I just can't wait to see more.
See, there was a lot of stuff I was reading online that was like behind closed doors demos, and they were saying that it's literally like watching an episode of South Park.
Except you're controlling it.
Yeah, which like to a casual observer, someone sitting next to you, they could mistake it for an episode of South Park.
They'd walk in and think, "Oh, what episodes of South Park is this you're watching?"
And I think.
I'm playing it.
The look is
looks
amazing.
Looks brilliant.
I mean, it looks so spot on, like absolutely perfect. So
and it's a great license, and they have done some good things with the South Park license so far. So
Well, this was THQ. Ubisoft got this when THQ went under.
When they disbanded until they went.
Yeah, so it's now sort of been moved over.
I'm sure that'll
The
be
Crew as well, another racing game. I actually don't even realise how many racing games.
I know, I knew at the time because I said
I remember you saying to me, yeah.
Fucking fifth racing game of this E3.
Now,
Fuck off.
The Crew might actually be the game that I was thinking of. Actually, wait, Drive Club wasn't the game that I was thinking of. I think it was The Crew that I was thinking of when I was saying about you jump around.
Well, they are all the same.
With other people. I know, I've actually just
you jump around with other people and
jump around with other people,
you chase people,
crash into their cars and take cars and stuff like that. I thought that one, it was The Crew actually, that looked really good. It wasn't Drive Club. Drive Club, I thought looked.
See, something like that I could maybe play because there's some fun elements, but ones that falls on that, nah.
Watch Dogs. Probably don't even need to talk about it. I will definitely be buying it.
Looks amazing.
They just need to stop showing the game because
just shut up and just
they
had everyone at last year's E3. Everyone was buying it then.
I would absolutely agree with that as well. I think that's the same of anything. I think for promotion wise, films, music, TV shows, games. Like if they're just like, you don't want to see anything new. If you just want to see the game, get the game and play it. It's just they don't want to overload you with stuff. Every second week it's a new trailer or a new bit of this and a new bit of that. Just stop doing that and just keep it the one two, or keep the anticipation high.
Same with all firms.
But they need to though. You're at a big massive conference, you need to show that it's still.
And I suppose you're right, but thinking about it, it's a new IP, it's a new name.
It still hasn't been released yet. You need to make sure that people are 100% on getting it. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Really don't care.
I don't really care about it either.
I get so bored with them.
Do you know, this is actually it's really bad because
quite a few people that I know have been saying that. Like,
I love Assassin's Creed. I've bought every single Assassin's Creed, every single console Assassin's Creed game. I've not played any of the portable ones, but like with Assassin's Creed 3, I was really disappointed in it. It was really glitchy for me, for one, and I found it quite boring to play.
I gave up on it because it was that boring.
And do you know, I think I'm actually the only person in existence who likes Desmond's story, who likes playing as Desmond, and who likes the sci-fi element of it. Everyone else seems to hate Desmond and hate playing as him.
I don't know why.
I love that.
I think that part of it does seem cool too.
I think that I was hoping that it was inevitably going to lead up to an actual end, and then they had a modern day Assassin's Creed. I now know that's never going to happen because everybody seems to hate playing as Desmond and they hate the modern day
so
setting.
the company's not going to do it.
So I don't think they're ever going to do that, but I actually don't think they're ever going to let the series die as well. And I don't understand the yearly releases just ruin a franchise. I think.
I agree.
Because it's forced. It's like.
But then they're saying right now with this one that this one was in development. I think they were saying something like it was in development before even Assassin's Creed 3 was in development or something weird like that.
Because I remember I seen a trailer, was it Christmas time for it? I was like, oh, when's that? What's it? Assassin's Creed 3 had just come out. And it was a month later, there was a trailer for that. I was like, what?
And again,
no need for it.
And I don't want to go into spoilers or anything, but I don't even know how it's going to continue from Assassin's Creed 3 because I don't know if it's going to have to. Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but from what they've shown, the gameplay demo was really underwhelming for me. And again, it's
nothing new.
Much like Call of Duty, I didn't really think it was doing much new. But
it showed the boat things.
The naval combat was one of the strongest things in Assassin's Creed 3, though. So taking it to
didn't even get that far.
Taking it to pirates and taking it out to sea and with your own ship and everything is probably a smart move because it was playing to their strengths. But
to me, it's very forgettable. It didn't catch me and think I want to play that again. So.
Yeah, I suppose fair enough. Trials, which is something.
Looking forward to
that. I know, Graham, you're obsessed about, and Iain, you're really good at it. You're actually good at it. He's obsessed with it, but you're actually good at it.
I enjoyed playing it.
I'm rubbish.
No, I really enjoyed playing it. I thought it was.
It's just one of the most enjoyable games.
And you know me, I don't like driving games, but games like that,
that's just proper fun. Isn't
it's just fun.
It's not. It's not.
There's fun, and then
it's not like a racing game. It's not. It is a race, but it's not.
Because I know Christopher's trying to say here. It's fun until you get to the irate stage. But like I play games, and I'll happily get a bronze medal and move on to the next level. Whereas
he's a completionist.
Whereas Christopher,
a perfectionist almost.
Which I actually admire in a way because it's like you obviously want to get golds in your first play season medals, but you would with any racing game, like Grid 2 for example, now. You're going to play to get first in golds, and I think if you concentrate on that so much, you can almost lose enjoyment out of the game because with Trials it's very much an irate platformer as much as it's a racing game, and I love that element. I pick up and play one more try, and if I get a silver or a bronze, then I'll move on. But I can't wait for it, man.
The easiness of it is great. You know, just the pick up and play and stuff like that.
But you can just pick up and play a couple of wee maps.
I just lose the plot with it. I can't.
Every now and then I'll definitely punch my leg a few times playing that game.
The rage sets in, and it is that whole thing of I want to get first. I mean, right now I'm playing Grid 2 and I've got first and everything so far. I haven't played that much of it though, to be fair. So, but I don't even think I could dream of getting all golds in Trials. It's not even a thought. It's not even a possibility.
That's me, and you're right. Talking about golds is insane. Never mind platinums. Never mind. And that's even talking about getting platinums on a medium level. Yeah. You've got hard and extreme above that. It's insane. One
of the things that people were saying slightly negative things about when it comes to Trials is that in the very, very brief trailer that they showed, there's a little counter in the bottom that was showing tricks, which is something that they've never really focused on too much.
Not tricks as such, because
you could physically.
It's more about balance and time.
You could spin the bike and everything like that, but you never there was never points issued for doing. It's not like Tony Hawk's where you're getting points for doing certain tricks. I mean, do you think that could?
That would kind of
change it in any way.
But actually, it's actually quite interesting saying it in that phrase and putting it as a question like that, because what you've mentioned before so far, just now on this, has been that games are maybe too scared to do something new, like your Call of Duties or Assassin's Creed are maybe getting a bit stale, maybe need to reinvent themselves. And I think with Trials so far, they have added and expanded the game so much already that at the heart of it, it's the same game. And I think adding tricks in it, people might think, oh, they don't need tricks, they shouldn't bother with tricks. But I think that's going to be the thing that keeps it different again, and it's going to keep it fresh. And for somebody like me, I know the three of us play it and have bought the previous games, but for me especially, that to me is exciting, because I'm like, sounds brilliant. Another change on a game that I know is already brilliant. Bring it on.
So
cannot wait.
You like Trials?
It's fair to say I'll probably buy it.
Child, you're not.
Yeah, and finally with Ubisoft, I mean, possibly the best and most exciting kind of gameplay demo for me. One of the best was The Division.
Oh yeah,
and this is what they did at E3 last year.
I actually totally forgot about that game until you mentioned it.
They announced Watch Dogs last year at the end of the E3 conference, and then this year they've now announced The Division,
which you'd imagine is going to be a long way off.
Which I think, if it's anything like Watch Dogs, I mean, it might be this time next year or late next year, but
maybe December next year or something.
I thought that looked incredible, and the concept of it I really love as well.
That's obviously multi-platform, isn't it?
Everybody was like, what is it? Because you didn't even know until
the very end.
Even the start video, you're like, what does it I say to you? I said something.
That's a cool way to announce things as well.
Aye,
is to bring it up when people think, what is this? What is it? Who's?
And it was just, I mean, the demo. I mean, apart from again, it, visual fidelity wise, it looked incredible, but I would question what that's even running on. But it just felt like it was quite. I love the idea of it. You being with your friends, and then you're not being tied to anything. You can go around the city and find out what's happening. So they go to a police station, and turns out there's a big shoot up, and then they kind of get their loot or whatever, if you will. They save the police officers and then it was quite cool how they had the person that was playing on a tablet, because that was one thing I noticed quite a lot. And when I was re-watching videos, there was a lot of focus on, here's somebody playing on smart glass, or here's somebody playing on a tablet, and it's like Battlefield, Dead Rising, a lot of the games.
Which is cool.
That's quite a big focus.
I just hope they don't make it not mandatory, but a big part of it. Because then,
it's a non-existent part of it if you don't want to use it. It's not like you cannot play the game without it.
I
think that it was used quite well in The Division, because it was like just somebody, because I wouldn't want it to be like you're playing the exact same game but on an iPad, because you would lose so much. I like the idea that person was controlling a wee UAV.
If it hints to it with parts of the game, and like you say, but Iain saying it's an option, if it's not forced and it was an extra thing, then that's cool. I'm up for that.
And I just like the whole idea of it, that they can go around and search the city and things like that. And the ending was quite interesting because I was reading a wee bit more into it, and you know how at the end they get new weapons and stuff like that from the police station, then they go outside and she shoots that flare, and then people start swarming in. Well, that's like
really
saying
cool.
it's like within that 90-second window, those other people were actual players, and if they kill you, they take that loot that you just got.
Oh, right.
And I thought that was actually quite cool because it's almost like it's still about survival, and that's what I was saying to you earlier, that feels like there's quite a few games that are going like down a kind of survival route, which I really like.
And it, even if you get two games that look identical, like in premise and kind of shooters, if you just change that scarceness of like ammo and survival instinct, if you put that in one game, it makes it a completely different game.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you play it differently, you approach things differently, you'll search more on a game that's like that if it's based around survival. So bring that, it looks quality.
And
good
I think
idea.
things that weren't there, which was really disappointing for me. Well, these are personal things that I was quite disappointed wasn't there. First of all was Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I don't know. I loved the first one. I thought it was incredible, and it was even weird they were teasing it before E3.
That was
the most annoying thing about it.
That's what makes it weird because you think
it's like they're just trolling. Like
there's no need to do it.
It was really annoying because I was like, oh, brilliant! That's almost guaranteed to be there then, since they're talking about it and stuff. So who knows what's happened with that? And then the other one was Rainbow Six.
Nobody knows what's happened with that, do they?
That one's a weird one because that was shown quite a long time ago.
It's
almost as if it's kind of just fallen off the map completely.
Since E3 though, like I think it was in me and Christopher, you were in a train into town and we were talking about Rainbow Six, and I'm reading into it. It's been confirmed as they are doing it now for the new generation, but
how long away is that going to be?
Well, no idea.
I know if they're starting from scratch or if they're...
I think they'll probably take the game model they had for current gen and then just developing it from there. So it will be a fair bit off. The fact it wasn't even there for a teaser shows you that it's a way off.
It's probably really still quite rough.
But the general build quality of all Rainbow Sixes have been really good.
I know, it just makes you worry that why has it taken so long? Have they created something they really didn't like and they've scrapped it? Then, like...
I suppose nowadays, again, when they're going back to games being released every year, I would happily wait longer for a game that I knew was going to be brilliant.
You've already waited quite a long time though for Rainbow Six.
when was it? No, you're right. When was the last one?
Oh my god.
2008 maybe? I think it might have been 2008.
It was really long ago, like a really long time
ago.
About
quick search while we're speaking, Christopher.
You search just now. Because what was it, Rainbow Six Vegas and then Rainbow Six 2? Was that still Vegas 2?
It wasn't it?
And this new one's not obviously not Vegas.
But it could be anything. I mean, I love Rainbow Six as an IP. Like Terrorist Hunt's one of the
Terrorist Hunt is one of the greatest mods ever, and it's so tense. It's so rewarding as well.
And again, what's lacking in a lot of games, or actually not necessarily lacking, but what's there but maybe not enforced is that it's based on teamwork and working. Maybe games like your Battlefield and Call of Duty now, that they technically rely on teamwork at times, but half the games you play, people don't care. People just go capture a base, they just run away and shoot somebody, kill somebody. They care about their kill counts and their kill streaks and stuff. So,
well, that was what I was saying with regards to Battlefield. That was the argument another argument I was saying between Call of Duty and Battlefield is the
Battlefield's much more a team game.
Because we've been playing Battlefield 3 quite a lot recently, and it feels totally different from Call of Duty. Call of Duty, there is no teamwork. Regardless of what mode you play, there is no teamwork. No one works as a team.
Doesn't matter if you do like a capture the flag.
No one cares.
They all want a good kill death ratio. Whereas in Battlefield, the game's structured in a way where you're never given. Like, you can look at your kill death obviously, but you're never rewarded for getting kill streaks.
You get a pure low score for.
You're rewarded more so, it feels, for doing objectives and for working as a team and for helping your squad.
And I like that you get put into squads. So I like that they put you into so you can with your friends. So you're with your friends and you spawn on your friends. That keeps it more team based as well. So when you're spawning on your friends, so you've got you can have not force. You can say to your friend, right, stay in that corner and stay alive, so I can spawn on you.
Yeah.
So it keeps it together. It keeps the players together and keeps you thinking as a team. It's just really smart. And it's so much more fun that way than just playing solo all the time in Call of Duty.
But I think that's pretty much, well, that isn't everything from the conferences. That is just a bit of what was from the conferences. So
there's loads of things we've missed, and
we're almost about to hit an hour and a half. So and that's just talked about. This was actually meant to be half an hour.
And it was meant to be about E3 and maybe touching on
and other stuff. Because most of the time this isn't always going to be about games. This is going to be about games or movies or TV. Music or TV or just not even
general
things like
pop
that, just
culture,
general stuff that's happening.
I think it's just obviously with the three of us loving games, and with that being recently, and with it creating things even in the press. I mean, I saw things about the Xbox One and like the independent websites, so it's current to talk about, and and like you said, there's tons of Microsoft, Sony, and even Nintendo stuff that we've missed because we've no touched it. So I think that's just about it.
It's nearly there, and we've obviously got other kind of ways of like contacting us through social media. So you, if you're on Twitter. If you're on Twitter,
give us a twint.
give us a wee twint.
A twint and a tweet.
If you're on Twitter, you can hit us up at GG Chronicles, and if you're on the old Facebook, just find us at the GG Chronicles, and give us a wee like, and we'll be updating info there, and you can write us messages if you want, and let us know what you like, what you didn't like, if you want anything that you'd want us to do or put in, let us know. But as the guy said, this one's going to be our E3 edition, we'll label, I think, and then we'll hopefully do another one soon.
We should hopefully have.
We'll do another one soon where we can concentrate on movies and TV.
We'll cut it into a couple of different sections. I think,
we should hopefully have other things like a wee intro tune and stuff. But like Ian was saying, it's heavily relying on feedback and any ideas or any suggestions that anyone has. So it would be great to hear from literally any single person that's actually taking an hour and a half out of their life to sit and listen to this.
Whether it's talking about things that we've done today and this one that you agree with, disagree with, think we should do or shouldn't do in the future, or things that we've not even touched on that you think were the things that we like that we're going to talk about in the future. So absolutely any feedback at all, good or bad, hit us up.
Aye. So as I said, if you go on our Facebook, you also see myself, Chris and Graham's, you'll link us to our actual Facebook, so feel free to give us a shout on there as well if you want to speak to us. But I think that's it probably, isn't it?
That's about us.
This is where the outro will be. We'll have a nice wee tune and we'll all say
that all plays out
and we'll get to say bye. Say bye. Bye
everyone.
Have a GG.
Goodbye.